So basically making software for cars. So today we're gonna bring you in to see how we can manage to keep up with the China speed, which is something else that what we're used to here in the West, and also see what kind of challenges we have and also how you can solve them.
So we will start to share one of my first experience in the China team, and Andreas will share another view of this one. So my first week started very intense. It was I made a short summary after over 7 days, and it was like 35 meetings, and there was internal meeting, there were external meetings, there were dedication meetings. So everything was very, very good. But at the same time, we had very much project ongoing. So the teams I have highlighted here were shouting out a lot of information on what was happening in that project and that project. So we will guide you through today how we handle all this quick information and to sort out what is important and how we solved it in the China team.
Yes, and I want to start this presentation with a story. It's back in November this fall. We were sitting in a normal project management meeting discussing project management stuff, and then a very happy sales guy comes into the room. He's happy, but I know this will be problem because we know we're fully booked for the rest of the year, but with a smile on his face we know there's at least one more project. And of course he is very happy to pronounce that we have a new product and they want the delivery before Christmas, and that's a few weeks away. And then I kind of realized what kind of thing China speed is and what kind of demands we have from the customers, how short the timelines can be, how quick you have to react to be able to get a part of the business.
So first of all of you maybe not know what you are doing, so a short summary of this one. So we monitor the tire pressure on the cars. So there are two types of systems. Either there is this system that have sensors that is connected to each tire and transmitting the signal to a central unit. And this system consists of like a lot of hardware. It's sensors, it's battery, it's a CPU, it's a antenna. And all these things is transmitting to receiving unit, and then it's presented on the display. So most of you have certainly been out driving and you get a warning that you have a low tire pressure. This system, as I said, needs 4 of everything, and then in Sweden we need the winter tires as well, so then it's 8 of everything. So it's a very costly system. What we do is that we have software that is connected to the ABS system that reads the signals from the already existing sensors. So by reading all the sensors that are already in the system, we can calculate the tire pressure without any hardware. So this is only a software-based system. And another background around this is why. Why do we do this? And the first thing is the safety. If you have bad tire pressure, you can drive off the road, and then it's the economical part. So that's also very important. It's to reduce the consumption in the car, and also the tires doesn't feel good if you have too low tire pressure in these ones. So all these went out and they decided that there will be a regulation. So in Europe it was decided 2014 that there is a regulation to have this in new cars, and for China it's 2017. And they are a little bit different. In Europe you have to monitor if you lose 20%, and in China it's 25%. And by just looking at the tires, when you, so to say, see that you have low pressure, you need to go under 50%. So go home and check your tires later today. You will save money.
Okay, some insights where we are at Nira, all around the globe where there's car manufacturers. We're of course here in Sweden today. We have our head office here, but we have also offices in Europe, in the US, in South of America, and also in China, which we will focus on today. So in China, we have 3 of the big cities. We have located our office in Shanghai. And yeah, so maybe you know that Shanghai is Chinese for Detroit, but maybe not. That's just me lying. But in Shanghai, there's a lot of car manufacturers, and that's why we located our office in Shanghai, to be very close to our customers. So just a brief insight of the brands we have. Some of them you might recognize. Some of them are our customers. And there's approximately around 200 car manufacturers companies constantly in China. Usually around each month a new brand is started, but also one is bankrupt. So there's quite constantly 200 of them.
So now to the organization at Nira. We have highlighted here the Swedish office and the China office. So me and Andreas is the product management team here, and we have the support from the tech leads, and the tech leads are the smart guys. They have control of all the requirements, and they put all these into Polarion, and they have control of how the system works. And then we have the application engineers. They are even smarter because they take the base software that we have and adapt it for this car. And what we need to do here is that we need to adjust a lot of parameters, maybe around 1,000 parameters for that tire and that car and that engine. It's a lot of parameters that are adjusted so that our system works for just that car. And then we have the integration guys, and these are the guys that makes this work in the car, because our software needs to be adapted into the customer hardware. So they know everything about RAM, ROM, CPU load, and stack, and everything. And it really needs to be optimized, because we just get a small part of that hardware to execute in. Then we have the China. We have the sales office here. They do a great job to sell this. We also have the integration test. All the cars are in China. We cannot transport them out of China. That will take too long time. So all the cars are there, and we get software from these people, and we integrate it and test it and see that it works. And to get everything working perfectly, we need to drive the cars. So we send the cars away to a specific test area where we can drive and test all the different tires and optimize the system according to that.
Okay, now we're going to get into the challenges with working in China from a project management perspective. And to sum it up, one word: culture. Nothing wrong with it. It's just different, and you have to adapt. So digging a bit more into this. So the first of them is the challenge with language. They of course speak Chinese, and some of our customers, like, even they only speak Chinese. They don't speak English, even though they are one of like the biggest companies on earth and super big car manufacturers. They tend to only speak Chinese. So that's why we need a satellite office in Shanghai with Chinese colleagues that can also do the communication part directly with the customer for us. And as Magnus said, all the cars are made in China, but we need to drive them somehow. So it would take too long time to get the cars to Sweden, and it will also cost too much to bring the cars to Sweden. So that's why we keep it in Shanghai and that area for our hands-on operation. And also getting into the cooperation with bunny ears. A lot of the car manufacturers or our customers tend to use their size to be quite harsh in negotiations with us. We are quite small suppliers, So it can be a bit of a challenge to try to get the acceptance that you actually need and get all the requirements through for your projects. So they usually use their size to negotiate with us, and it's not so much focus on cooperation as we see in the West. It's more of kind of get your suppliers to deliver the maximum in the shortest possible time.
Yes, another challenge that we have is that our customer works long times. They start 9 and end 9, and they work even on Saturdays. So there is things happening all around the clock, and we will come back later how we handle this one. Yeah, and speed. Speed is everything. It's these cars, we need to have them like in a pretty late state. We cannot take like a prototype car because everything in the car is then not mature. We need to have correct tires, the right engine. Everything needs to be pretty like when you buy the car. So this is a problem for us, that we get the car late, very late. Could be like three months before SOP. Sometimes we get earlier cars, and we do some check on these ones so we know where we are, but we need to do the final adjustments on the latest car, else it will be so that is also making this speed. We need, so to say, to be very quick in the end of the car manufacturing process.
Yeah, and in China they are very tech focused. They want to get all the latest features and cool things in their cars, and they put a lot of emphasis on this. But sometimes they don't really think that it's most important to know if is it verified, does it even fit, is it safe. That's maybe not the first priority. It's just get as much as possible in the cars as possible. And it starts, so no one seems to care. Just make it work. Quite a easygoing customer, you would think. But if something fails, then of course the blame game starts. And of course the supplier is the ones to blame. Okay, so now we're gonna get into how we make this work. So one of the things is that we have to rethink the scope of the projects, how big they are and what they can include, and also our way of working with projects. So to make quite a quick comparison, Audi project, a new car can have like 50 tires that are supposed to be recommended from the OEM when you buy it. But in China, a new model can have 1 tire as an option. So that makes the scope much smaller for us, which of course is a possibility to make speed for it. But regardless, with all these things happening in the project and the short timelines, you have to make a balance of good enough. You don't have time to get stuck on details and follow up every kind of lead. You have to make a lot of prioritization and focus on the core things.
Yes, then this is a little bit how we work. It's always important that we focus on the customer needs and do stuff that are most important all the time. So we have like 3 sync meetings with our Chinese team, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where we synchronize what has happened, because there is happening things all the time. We will come to things that are problematic for us. So, and then we also have these team chats that I was talking about. So each project we set up a team chat. So if there are like 5 or 10 people involved in that car project, they have an own team chat. So if something pops up, you put your question there, and the guys who can answer quickest do that. And this is, we don't need them to set up meetings and sit down and try to find a conference room and try to find when everybody is free. We just put everything in the team chat and somebody answers. And everybody are focusing on their part. The integration part can look, is this for me? No, then I skip it. Is this application? Then I look at it. Is it for me and Andreas that we have a delay or risk or costs money? We act on this one. So it's a very effective way to be quick in the company. At the same time, it pops up 10 projects. We have 10 projects each, so it pops up very much information. So you have to be very quick and sort out what's important right now, what's important for us. But I think that that works good. Yeah, and then we come to this working hours. We have a office in China, so they start early, and it's 6 hours between. So when we wake up and take our coffee, we read through the chats and the mails, and after maybe 10 or 15 minutes, we are aligned what's happening in China, and we can act on that one. And then we also have teams that are located in China, so they can start their application or they can start the integration work, and when they go home we take it over in the afternoon and we can deliver in the evening. So we work like all the way through the day.
Okay, so now you're gonna get the insight into a time plan of a kind of typical Chinese project timeline. So we will start off, of course, with negotiations and get everything prepped on the commercial side. And when we actually start off from our side, we need to send a first development software to our customers so they can start their integration of our software into their software. And the next step, big step, is to get actual vehicle from the customer. And this one can be a very early stage. It might be it's hand built, not just by hand, and no kind of sophisticated tools. So it can compromise a lot on like quality, drivability, how representative it actually is of the production vehicle later. But we need to get something to get it started. And when we actually receive the vehicle, we tend to prep it up with our hardware and software measurement equipment. Takes around 1 to 2 weeks. And then depending on how much data we need to collect, about 2 weeks of data collection where we actually drive the car and collect as much data as possible. And when we have collected the data, we will bring that data back to Sweden and we will do the software adaptation where we actually adapt the software towards the vehicle model that we are supposed to bring the software to. And then we have kind of a calm phase in the middle because usually our customer needs to do a lot of software integration on their side. But then later we usually get a production vehicle quite close to the start of the production. This is more mature and more representative of what the vehicle that you can buy in the store later will look like. So that's why we need to test drive it, collect some more data just to verify that everything and all the assumptions we did in the beginning with the early car is actually true. So that adds around 6 weeks in total in the end. And when we're done, we will send our final version of the software to the customer, and they can start the production of the whole production line.
Yeah, now we come to problems. So how much problem can there be in this business? And there is a few things that takes time. For example, in China you cannot have these green plates on the cars that we have in Sweden when you test drive a car. They need to have a specific driving license a plate for that. And it could also be that it expires during our test drive and then we are blocked. So the license plate is one. We have a few more. So to be able to do all this data collection, we need to have the data protocol in the car. It's the CAN bus where all the nodes communicate with each other. So it's from that we get the ticks from the from the wheels we get the speed, if you are braking, and the gear. It's a lot of information that you get through that protocol that we need to be able to use as input to our software. Then we have also problems. These cars, as I said, they are prototype cars. Some of them cannot drive these speeds that we need to test them in. So that could be a limitation. And then we have all these electrical cars that, first of all, a lot of problems with charging. Maybe the car that we get is not possible to charge, so we can drive one time and then it's not possible anymore. Yeah. Then the tires. Normally, it's very common that we get some kind of prototype car tires in the beginning, and these tires are we can start a test with them, but we need the real tires to be really sure that this will not get any false alarm later on. And then what the output from our system is to present this in the display. So we send out signals to the dashboard, and there is pretty common that the supplier doesn't interpret this in the correct way, so it's wrong displayed or something, or not implemented in that way. Yeah, and the last car that we got didn't have any parking brake, and that was okay, but it's of course a risk with this. It could also be that the normal brake doesn't work. But they have different categories to be able. It's Cat 3 is the name for us when you are allowed to start driving these cars on the streets. So that could also be an issue for us. Yeah.
Okay, so at Nira, to keep up with China's speed, we have to work with continuous improvements. So this is basically how it looks today. We need about 1 week of driving for each tire that the manufacturer want to add to the end vehicle. It takes around 1 month for the software adaptation. So adding all these up, it's about 3 to 6 months of total project time, which is quite good compared to a lot of other products in industry, but this is unfortunately not enough for China. So tomorrow, or the vision we have, is that we will only need 1 day to collect data on each tire that we will include in the software, and also have around 1 week of software adaptation. And this will bring down the total project time to around 1 month from getting the purchase order from the customer to when we have the final software to the customer.
So this page shows a little bit what we have learned today, challenges and solutions. So we start with the first one. To be able to be in China, we need to have a satellite office, because a lot of the communication is only in Chinese. I've been to a lot of meetings where it's talking Chinese for 30 minutes and the summary is like 10 seconds. So it's very important that we have this kind of people in that supports us and communicates and negotiates with the Chinese companies. And we already discussed this. They start early, and we have support for that, because we have people there that can support with things, and then we take it over and can finalize software in Linköping. Yeah, it's very important that we don't do more than we need. So this what we say, good enough, it's very important that we think of that every day, so we don't do more. We have the legislation in the bottom that we should fulfill, and we should do that and not do more, so to say. Then we have the impossible time plans, and they are pretty impossible. Pretty often we deliver a software before we get the order. Not perfect, but it goes so quick, so that the sales and purchase guys doesn't keep up with our short time plans all the time. So as Andreas presented, we have a project here in Linköping where we'll shorten everything. So if we succeed, it will be 1 month.
Yes, that goes forward to the question part. Yes. Oh.
So we just need the microphone. You can pass it on if you have any questions.
So very interesting. Seminar, very nice. So my first question is, what is your position in the Chinese market for this tire pressure monitoring system, and how many competitors do you have? Is it like all the Chinese companies, they don't want to do it alone and want to have service or this project from another company? And also, I mean, you have talked about all the challenges like the culture, the language, and this time. I mean, the time difference, 6 or 7 hours, might be a benefit for you because then you can, work all day around. But besides that, what is the advantages that the Chinese companies want to choose you instead of some other Chinese service providers in this domain?
Yeah, everybody heard the question, I guess. We we don't really repeat it, but there are competitors, of course, but we are better, of course. We are more precise and more stable. But there are competitors absolutely on this market. I can maybe somebody from the company can help me, but there are a few competitors out on the market. Absolutely.
And there are also some local Chinese suppliers as well, which they can have some benefits in, price, but not maybe as high complexity as our software has. So it's a kind of a trade-off. We're market leading in the technology side, but they are more kind of adapted to the Chinese manufacturers' work speed. And then they, of course, get a lot of more easygoing with the bureaucracy in China as well. So that can be the reason why our competitors get chosen in China.
But do you have any number, how many percentage of the market you are?
Ooh, not by hand, I would say.
Is the business driven by the guys or girls who buys the car?
It's the legislation. So there is a legislation in Europe and also in US and in China.
And how much do you save on the legislation? I mean, governments are not stupid. I mean, they...
There's been different reasons why they are being established. In the US, it's been a safety precaution because they have had accidents where people have too little tire pressure, and that's been the cause of the accidents. That's the safety aspect. And then in Europe, it's been the environmental focus with lowering emissions. When you have the correct tire pressure, you get a lot less lower emissions, and it's also more economical for you as a car owner to have the correct tire pressure. You will save a lot of fuel. So that's two kind of ways of getting basically the same legislation in place. And China has kind of copied or make their own assumption of what Europe and the US has made.
And how many competitors do you have? I mean, in this, I mean, since you can use both sensors and the software, or 10 or 100? Or
I think it's few, maybe five. I'm guessing now a little bit, but
on the software
three.
side is
3 it is. Okay. Yes.
Yep.
As an advantage to themselves. And my question is, what's your leverage in this case, and what's the deal breaker for you? When do you say stop? We cannot do this anymore.
I think we have one of our core values that it's going to be easy to be a Nira customer. So we work very hard with satisfying our customers to a reasonable extent. Sometimes it's not physically or theoretically possible, then it's nothing we can do. But of course, if it's some kind of new feature they want to develop, then we're quite happy to explore it and see if it's possible to develop it. But of course, it can be tough to kind of squeeze in our timeline into the big timeline for the customers who have the huge timeline of making every part of the car, and then we are quite a small part of the car. So that makes it quite difficult to get access to the vehicle. Sometimes they don't want us to borrow us a car, so that can be an issue. Yeah.
Follow-up question. I will do that while I have the mic. Have you come across cars where you have developed the software for in Sweden?
You mean Chinese car that are in Sweden?
Or somewhere, or somewhere else in the world, if you've come across your own software.
Yeah, you mean I have an Volvo XC90 that has our system in it, and we have BYD cars we had just before in the office, and so on. So yes, I mean we have delivered over 100 million software licenses. So there is a lot of cars out there that have this system.
I'm wondering about the functionality, the difference in the functionality offered by your software when you compare it with Audi and then BYD. You mentioned in the slides that Audi can have like 50 different tires. This means more time to adapt and test for Audi, I'm inferring from that, whereas the Chinese car manufacturers have only one tire. So isn't this an opportunity for you rather than a challenge?
Yeah. It's opportunity in terms of speed. Of course, the software behaves the same, even though if you have 1 or 50 tires. But if you have the more tires, you have the more
time
data
to
you
test.
need. Yeah.
And then you said earlier that the European regulation, the Chinese regulation is inspired from the European regulation. Are they differing? Your software, does it offer the same feature set? Has to offer the same feature set for the Chinese as well as the European?
The core functionality is the same.
Yeah.
It's more of how we tune the level where it sets an alarm. So that's kind of determined by the legislation, and that's different in US, the Europe, and China for when you start to look at the details. But for like everyone, a basic driver, you don't notice any different. The lamp lights when you have dropped in tire pressure. So that kind of core functionality is the same regardless of the market. But like if you lift up the hood of the software, then you can start to see the differences.
Yeah, so this adaptation phase, that would be shorter for each Chinese manufacturer when compared with Audi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an opportunity, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation. You showed this structure of the project or company, and I was wondering that, I mean, all this, there's project management, integration, and so on. I was wondering if you see any innovation or improvement that can be happen in your product in the future. And yeah, I guess it doesn't only apply to China market, maybe in your product as a whole. If you have such a thing in your company, and if you see there is possibility to improvement in the product.
Yeah, I would say the benefit of China being so tech focused is that they actually want the latest features. So when our like larger customers like Volkswagen and Audi, they are quite heavy to turn over the boat, but in China they're very quick turning. So then we can start to use or like implement the latest products or features in the Chinese cars, and then we can develop and see how they behave in the market and get feedback to Sweden. We get a lot of customer communication from our satellite office in China. So we get a lot of feedback to Sweden, and then we of course help the Chinese car manufacturers to get the best kind of software for them, and also we learn it and put it into the core software that we apply all over the world.
Do you know what are those new features, or what do you add? For example, just to give us a sense of.
Yeah, we have our latest product where we can output the percentage display, or like it's called the percentage display. It displays a percentage of the tire pressure from 0 to 100%, and that is our latest feature. And that a few of our Chinese companies have started to pick up, and they are the first with vehicles on the market with this new feature. And we are still trying to convince Volkswagen and Audi and Volvo to get this kind of new feature.
Thank
you. I notice you don't have an integration team in China, so there's no development teams in China to help with customer integration. If so, why not?
We have, as we speak, we have one guy that is borrowed out to China that works with integration things. He's located right now in China. So we have people that going forth and back. And earlier, last year, we have an application engineer that was located for 3 months in China. So we try to have that as well.
Okay, but not recruiting any developers in China?
No, not. It's not. We don't see that will make so much use, so to say, because these guys are collecting all the data by driving the cars, and they integrate it in the cars, and then we have the core development we have the big team that makes the software for all the cars in Linköping and communicate with them. So I think it's good that these people are located in Linköping more than located in China. But when they are here, they help this team to educate them and support them, and that's very good. That's very convenient, because they can be also working in the right time zone. So the guy that works from integration here, he starts early and then hand over, and another guy can continue in the afternoon. So that's very good.
Yeah, I was thinking about this good enough philosophy that you had. Do you believe that if you deliver like a product that you for yourself don't see as perfect, that can hurt your brand? Or how are your like views on where you draw that line?
Yes, yeah, I think it's a little bit related to the tires maybe. In Europe you have a lot of tires, and in China you verify it against the fewer tires, and that's one limitation we do, and that's good enough to fulfill the regulation, and the customer is pleased with that one. So when they want to have just one tire, we add some more tires to make the software more stable, so to say. So if he decides to change the tire to another tire, it should not give any false alarms. So we add tires, but not like 50, just a few extra.
Thank you.
In the future, will you be able to adapt to tire pressure? I mean,
you mean
fill it up?
Fill it up?
Yeah. Since I mean, it must be the optimum must be depend on temperature, what type of road you drive on.
Yeah.
There are many parameters, but
it's pretty complex, because it's
yeah.
always moving, So I think it will be more expensive to solve that than the benefits. Sorry, but yeah. Yeah.
No, the reason I'm asking, I mean, is I bought a Korean car, and then it's a warning, and then you can't drive it if it's an unbalanced, I mean, tire pressures, and then the advice from the guy I bought it was just drive it for a while, and then you will get another tire, and then it will work. I mean, so.
Have you checked the tire pressure? Yeah, and maybe you need to fill it up then.
How accurate you can measure the tire pressure from your current system, and when you compare with the sensor?
I don't have any data on it. I think it's kind of like a balance scale between performance, like detection accuracy, and what we call robustness, is like a protection from false alarms. So I think it's, if you would only specify on performance or measurement accuracy, you can get quite close, but then you would lose a lot on robustness, which means like, yeah, you can hit a bump and you get a false warning and everything. So it's quite of a unfriendly for the end user, even though it sounds very attractive as an engineer to get it as close as possible to actually measuring. So at least in China, we tend to tip the scale to the other side. Make sure that we handle the legal limit. That of course we can't rule out or make any changes of. So we always have to meet the legal requirements. But then we try to tune it to be as robust as possible towards false alarm, because that's what we have learned from our from the Chinese market, that they really hate getting false alarms or alarms in the car. So they want really, if they would choose, they would kind of get rid of the tire pressure monitoring lamp. But of course it's a legal requirement, so they still to have it. But we we tune our software as far away from measurement accuracy as possible to get the end user to have as little input as possible from our software.
I was actually thinking about, I believe one of your other business areas here in Europe, right? You use all the data you collect to also make a picture of the condition of the road, right? And you sell that data to companies who wants to work with preventive maintenance. Is that a business opportunity in China you're pursuing at all?
Sharing data like in and out from China is very, very challenging. So I think that's the biggest hurdle for it. We are solely focused on the tire pressure monitoring system, like the grid network systems or those kind of products from Nira are handled more from another department from our side. But of course they have a lot of roads and a lot of weird roads that we would say in China. So I think it would be a business potential, but I think the challenge with working with China and data in China would I think that's the biggest challenge for it. But theoretically it's possible, yeah.
Because you can collect and own the data from all the vehicles where your system is implemented right now in China, right? So
yeah, we have I think for a lot of the Volkswagen brand cars, they have like a grip indicator that is active for like a part of the safety system, and that feeds up data to our system that we use to handle or like collect data for the roads, how healthy the roads are, if you have potholes, if it's slippery, if you have done a bad maintenance or such. So yeah, it's of course possible. Yeah.
I was wondering, you showed in the beginning the two types of tire pressure monitoring
Yes.
systems, the software-based
Mm,
approach,
mm.
which you have, and then the other direct one. And it looks like if the trend on the market is you need to provide a system faster, the software-based approach that you have, it looks like that would be easier to speed up the integration of compared to the other one.
Yes.
But is the leftmost part here, is that still sort of a system that's evolving and sort of staying on the market, or is everyone shifting to the software-based approach?
I would say that both these systems exist today, and I think that someone or somebody thinks that this is more high tech. It's more they want to pay for this. If you buy a very expensive car, they want to have this because then you know exactly what pressure you have, and it's monitoring all the time. But this system makes the same thing, but it's not maybe the high tech as they say it is. Of course, it is even more high tech, but I think it's and it's very. I mean, this is very costly. All these batteries, all these sensors, and they break, and you have the summer and winter tires. So I don't want that system.
Yeah. It looks like your approach should be more fit to the sort of fast-moving Chinese market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, thanks.
Let that be the last question for today. Okay, do you want to have a... Okay, there will be one question more.
Mostly American men want larger tires on the cars. Must they adapt the software to make the system function? Or does it... I lost the word. Yes, thank you.
Well, mostly in the American cars, they heavily prefer the sensor system. We're not yet into like the American manufacturer markets, but we have export models from European manufacturers with our software system. But I would say one thing with the sensor is that you don't need to basically drive the car. It's a bit easier for the car manufacturer to have it in terms of like the whole timeline with making the car, because we somehow need to borrow a car, and that makes things a bit itchy for the car manufacturers, because the car manufacturer doesn't see the cost that the end user needs to pay when they need to change the sensors itself, because that's just a service cost that they earn money for. And the software, it never gets old, so it will always work the same if it's brand new, if it's 50 years old.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Give them a warm applause. Thank you very much. And now Lisa just took my question, because my question was, because you bring up Geely and BYD and all these kind of things, that this technology can actually be implemented in larger trucks. But I think I got the answer there. So, and this is the reason why we talk fuel consumption and, of course, a lot of safety as well. So, just to put that into perspective. Thank you very much, guys. I think there is a few people here that would like to talk to you, like one-to-one. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys, for coming. The next Tech Tuesday is on the 29th. That will be Sectra coming and talking a little bit about cybersecurity. And the 29th, we actually have Mjärvi Cykeldag here in Linköping and here in Mjärvi. So if you want to have your bicycle fixed, it's actually possible. Go to the website and have a look what the day is there, the 29th. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.